Dane, thank you so much for being on the Gut Honest Truth today. I'm so excited to have you and sort of reconnect over the past few years of knowing who you are and your story. So thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm blessed to be here, and anyone listening, this is dedicated to anyone chronically sick, dealing with severe gut health issues. Healing is possible, and I'm going to do everything in my power to give you the information you can use today to start making massive shifts in your health and get those results that we all deserve.
I love that. And for anyone who doesn't know Dane and is listening to this episode, I would love for you to share some of your personal story because I do think your personal story makes your entire business and what you do and what you preach and what you believe
Yeah,
in like so much more valuable because you've walked the walk, you've talked the talk, and you
yeah.
really can both empathize with individuals and help them and give them the tools that they need to succeed. So, if you don't mind sharing, I'd love to hear a little bit more of kind of your background and how
Yeah.
you've kind of gotten here today.
Yeah, totally. I'm not your average cat like walking down the street here. I'm the guy who's been on the battlefield for 10 years, and
Mhm.
you're stuck on a battlefield you didn't ask for out there. You're in a place you didn't ask for, you don't deserve, you don't know how you got here. And I've been out here, and I've been in the war. I've been on the
Mhm.
ground. I'm not in an ivory tower just reading the clinical
Yep.
research.
Yep.
So it's been high stakes. I've been stuck in a prison before, dealing with life-threatening Crohn's colitis. So when I got
Mhm.
diagnosed, I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis around 22, 23, first symptoms at 19 years old. And then I was diagnosed Crohn's disease, then UC and Crohn's. They really couldn't figure out, they couldn't make up their mind. They kept arguing the diagnosis, different hospitals, different doctors. But eventually I just called it Crohn's colitis. And I didn't run in my family. It wasn't hereditary. No one in my family had ever had anything like it. We had never even heard of it back in 2010,
Mhm.
2011. And, I was normal at 16, 17, 18. I ate Papa John's pizza and Domino's, and
Mhm.
I ate McDonald's, and I ate French fries, and I drank Coca-Cola, and I started drinking beers with my buddies in college. And that's
Mhm.
just what we did in Virginia. I was a good old
Mhm.
boy in the woods, in the middle of the Virginia woods, just living like every other kid did in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Mhm.
And this just came up, and I don't know, why. Now we can deep dive on why if we want to go that direction.
Yeah.
But I started getting blood in the stool. I started getting
Mhm.
cramping. Then I started getting urgency. Then I started getting random acne on my chest, on my back, on my neck. I started getting headaches. I started having a hard time keeping my weight up.
Mhm.
And, I finally went to the doctors at 22, 23 years old, right around there. And the doctor said, you have ulcerative colitis, Crohn's. We need to start these medications. Now, Katie, I was not this pirate. I was not Captain Jack Sparrow trying to fight the resistance here of the conventional medicine
Mhm.
and trying to like be that guy. I just wanted my life back. I just wanted to live
Yeah.
like a normal kid. So they said, go on prednisone and go on mesalazine. Sure, fine. Whatever's going to get
Mhm.
me back to normal. What I didn't look into it. I didn't even really research it. I was a kid. My
Mhm.
mom was the one researching it,
Mhm.
getting the shaky hands of like, oh my God, what is this? This is nuts. So prednisone helped a little bit. Mesalamine helped a little bit. Fast forward another 2 months, I'm titrating off the prednisone. Symptoms are coming back, blood's coming back, mucus is coming back, urgency's coming back. Mesalamine, Lialda, Asacol, they weren't doing anything. Go back to the doctor. Okay, let's get you on 6-MP. Cold sweats through the night, massive headaches, massive fear, dizziness. Doctor goes, oh, that's messing up your liver. We can't do that. Let's go to the next drug. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, that didn't work. Okay, now let's go to Remicade. All right, doctor, what the heck is Remicade? Well, son, it's an infusion you're going to get for the rest of your life. You're telling this to a 23-year-old. You're going to an infusion every 4 weeks for the rest of your life, and it could just help to subside symptoms. Will it cure anything? Will I ever get off of it? No, not really. You're probably going to need this, and hopefully it can control things. And what if it doesn't control anything? Well, then we're going to probably need to look at surgery to start removing body parts. Okay. What are the negative side effects of these? Well, it could turn into tuberculosis. It could increase chances of certain cancers. It'll hurt your immune system. You might be more susceptible to the flu. Or later on in 2019, if we read the future, you could have more problems with COVID, and it could cause some problems. Definitely cause some problems. And so I went from it's not working, and I was spending thousands of dollars because my insurance wouldn't cover everything,
Mhm.
on these medications, and I just kept getting worse and worse. So now I've been on biologics, I've been on immunomodulators, I've been on steroids, I've been on antibiotics. and I'm just getting more sick until it was life-threatening at 26. And at that point, I was a big dreamer, Katie, and everyone out there who really connects. I had a lot of dreams. Maybe your kids have a lot of dreams, or you had a lot of dreams and you really wanted a lot. And Crohn's colitis has just put you in a prison where it's seemingly impossible that you can get your life back or live normal. And it's so traumatic. It's so taxing. It's so intense that it makes sense. I mean, it
Mm-hmm.
broke me for years. So one of the big points I want to mention to everyone out there is it wasn't like I was this guy who just woke up and beat this thing. I suffered for
Mm-hmm.
years. This was not something quick. I didn't just go on the SCD diet and get results. I didn't just go carnivore and get perfect results. I didn't just take a probiotic. I didn't just take fish oil. I didn't just take a large dose of vitamin D.
Mm-hmm.
The first year of trying to heal myself with conventional and natural, my family spent about $30,000. Flights, hotels, uninsured conventional medical costs, new special foods, Dr. Google telling me to take this herb or that. I was actually more sick after that year than when we started. And I don't come from a rich family. So we were dire. And that suffering led to, you have two options, everyone out there right now. The suffering leads to two. Number one, you're either going to get swallowed up by the suffering. Or number two, the suffering is going to be a catalyst for you to become your own superhero, to turn into a superpower. To heal yourself of chronic disease, you have to become the best version of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So if you sat down and said, I don't have disease, but I just want to biohack myself. I want to look my best. I want to look amazing in that bikini, or I want abs. Oh, it's perfect skin, hair flowing, eyes light, breath awesome, right? No white tongue, oral thrush, none of that. And you're just the best version of yourself, that person, and healing chronic disease, it's 99% the same template. That is what had to happen. I'm either going to be swallowed by the suffering, or I am going to change my perspective of what is truth, what is normal, my relationship with God, the earth, with food, with my community, how I allow people to influence me, what I see in the mirror, what I spend my time reading, what I spend my time focusing on, what my values are. My values
Mm-hmm.
were have a social life, try to make some money, try to impress a girl. That's a 22-year-old
Yeah.
guy's
Yeah.
values, right? So it was, I had to reset all that. And it came from suffering. So those are the two: either get swallowed by the suffering or develop a superpower, become the best version of yourself. And I
Yeah.
eventually, I went right.
Did you have like, maybe it wasn't functional medicine, maybe that wasn't the term back then, like somebody that sort of was whispering in your ear, or was it all of you digging into research or just different modalities that could help you that kind of gave you that perspective shift that you were like, I need to dig deeper
Oh
across the
my,
board?
fantastic question, Katie. I don't know if anyone's ever asked me that, and it's such a good question. And I think it's the reason why I'm in the position I'm in. I didn't have anyone.
Yeah.
I didn't have these podcasts. I didn't have my naturopath professor was kind of it, but he had no experience with Crohn's colitis.
Mhm.
He just knew energy. He knew health. He had
Mhm.
helped people generally heal. So that was a kind of a hook that when I spent time with him or some of the other NDs in the school, like I'd go to lunch with them and I'd hear about their desire and how they eat this way. Cause I grew up on fast food
Yeah.
and how they
Yep.
live this way and how they get balanced in meditation. Because a lot of the NDs I work with, they meditated 5 days a week, sometimes an
Mhm.
hour. They were big into meditation. They were big into the nervous system. They were big into energy and creating space and cellular detox. And, it just to be I was absorbing their balance. Like, how would you live balanced in this life? Because to me,
Yeah.
as a young person or anyone, it feels like you're living like a monk. Like you might as well shave your head and put on the robe.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't feel normal. So you have to recondition what is normal.
Absolutely.
You have to it's a relation, it's a spiritual relationship of what is normal food, what is normal taking a supplement or doing an alternative therapy or what you're reading, and then working on releasing the trauma of being a sick person that, I got into this because I was sick, but I'm going to keep with it because I'm free.
Yeah. I love that you're saying that because I do feel like it doesn't even matter the condition, the diagnosis, the symptom that we're talking about when we have that almost, I don't want to call it a victim mentality, but a victim mentality of
It
I am
is.
sick. It
It
it's
is.
trauma response that just is going to keep you stuck versus, and it's really hard to, I think sometimes even as a practitioner to get that point across, articulate without almost offending somebody on a deep level that is suffering, right? Is how
Mhm.
do we shift this mentality and start to heal and thrive versus let's be stuck in I'm sick. And you see that a lot with, obviously autoimmunity, but you see that with like Lyme disease and all of that. It's really hard
Oh
to change
man.
the mindset with that clientele.
Well, and it's
Rightfully
justified.
so.
Yeah,
Say
give
rightfully so.
yeah, give yourself space. As someone, when I was in that prison, the first thing is I was in for years. It was suffering for years. This was not easy. It didn't happen quick for me. Most people I work with heal 10 times quicker than I ever did.
Mm-hmm.
10 times. But that's also when you ask me like who did I have? That was also part of the suffering. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
have a coach. I didn't have the Shield program. That's why I built. I just built what I needed 10 years ago.
Yeah.
That's
Mm-hmm.
all it was. I sat down one day and I gotten out of this prison and I said, what's my passion?
Mm-hmm.
What's my conviction? What's my purpose? To be what I needed 10 years ago.
Yeah. I
That
love
that
that.
was it. And so what we need, you need a person, I would say you need a coach who specializes in Crohn's colitis,
Mm-hmm.
preferably has had Crohn's and colitis, has testimonies of already getting people results, the results that you're looking for, and you need a customized plan. You got to get away from the generic ideas
Yeah.
of it because
Mm-hmm.
I have seen people do amazing with plant food. I've seen people do amazing with animal food. I've seen some
Mm-hmm.
people get the worst hercs with oregano or berberine or grapeseed or biocidin, and I've seen some people literally go symptom free within a week of using some anti-pathogenic supplements. And I've seen the same with Tudka, bile salt, or castor oil
Mm-hmm.
packs, or HBOT, or whatever. So you've got to customize it. It's a chess match. No two chess matches are the exact same, even if you're playing the same person, meaning you're trying to heal
Mm-hmm.
the same disease at different times of your life. It's still a
Mm-hmm.
different chess match. So you've got to become a master chess player, and that's what it is. We sit down with you as master chess players, and we play with you, and then we teach you how to play, and then you're part of a community that you can freely talk to everyone else. So you need a community. So you need a community of like-minded individuals. The only reason we have this sense of normal, Katie, is because our friends aren't living like this. Our friends are going and
Yeah.
eating processed foods. Our family are eating trash food. Our friends are having the beers and stuff. And that's what really hurts us. We feel so isolated. And so there's a conditioning. We could literally spend the next hour and a half just talking about how to reset what is normal, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, that's a huge topic in its own. But a few things that you want to do is you want to be consistent, not perfect. Okay. Write that down. Consistency is worth way more than perfection. Number two is your goal is to be happy and healthy at the same time. Most people who try to get healthy get unhappy with the process because they have to
Yeah.
sacrifice so much. So you have to say, once you understand the goalpost, it's going to really help you have some aha moments. Hopefully we have some today. So if you're trying to be happy, then you tend to make yourself unhappy. I went out and I drank and I was out till 2 a.m. and then I ate chili cheese fries and I woke up and I felt absolutely horrid. Okay, well, you had a great time last night. Now you're paying for it, right?
Yeah.
Common we say in our society, I had a great time. Now I'm paying for it. You got to be happy and healthy at the same time. And that's the main word, the answer in that is balance. Life is about balance. It's not about eradication. You cannot get rid of the dark. The dark must be there for light to exist. For light to exist, the dark must exist. So that means that we are always susceptible to some sort of dis-ease happening in our life. The answer is to create balance in our life. Balance is lifestyle. The difference between diet and lifestyle is balance, really. It's really an
Yeah.
energetic balance. I am balanced in living this life versus a diet is I am unbalanced, but I must do this in
Mm-hmm.
order to achieve my goal
Yeah.
because
I
I'm
love the happy,
yeah,
healthy that like I
yeah,
want to focus because I was actually thinking it was like a later on thing I had in my mind to like pick at for you and sort of like
uh-huh.
I'm just going to jump the gun with you here because
Do it. Yep.
um like what do you well first of all I have so many different thoughts that went through my head. One is including which I want to talk about the Shield program is when people hear programs including me, right? As
Yeah.
somebody who has over a decade of experience in here, I'm like immediately like okay, probably cookie cutter, right? Like cookie cutter situation because
Yeah.
people think functional medicine is always, and we're just going to always group like holistic functional is a root cause approach, which it should be, but so many programs, so many businesses have shifted way too much to cookie cutter, in my
Oh yeah.
opinion, which is like
Agreed.
its own problem. But I'm curious when
Yeah.
you say, loved it has to be happy and healthy because I am somebody who feels like I always sit in this gray area of functional and traditional health of like I am traditionally trained. I'm also certified as an IFMCP practitioner, but I
Yeah.
still am like you have to be happy and healthy because if we sway you one way or the other too much, like you won't be consistent. You won't have that longevity and that thriving piece. You'll do well for a while and you'll probably fail. So I'm curious what you talk to your clienteles and your members in this about in terms of like not feeling like their life is actually about to be taken away, right? Like you're about to
Hmm.
restrict their food, you're about to give them millions of supplements and all of that, and they need that rigid program to heal, which maybe you do, maybe you don't. But I'm just curious, like your take and how you
Yeah.
approach that for people.
Yeah, and Katie, I already know why we're going here because as a practitioner, it's an art form. It's one of the hardest things. You
Yes,
can't learn it
thank
in
you.
school. You can't.
Mm-mm.
You can't
I
read the
always say
book.
it's more of an art than a science.
It's such an art. Like you can't. Like
Mm-hmm.
you already know. Okay, I need NAC. I need a
Mm-hmm.
binder. I need. You know. Right? You know. No, you know how the body works. You can interpret the labs. You find root issues. You start
Mm-hmm.
working on them. But this is an emotional experience, a
Mm-hmm.
spiritual experience. So, guys, what we're talking about is the Jedi form of healing. Okay, the more Jedi it is, the more intangible it can seem. So realize that a lot of this isn't just mathematics. You know, you do
Mm-hmm.
this many macros, you take this micros, or you eliminate the processed seed oils, and you get better. That's basic. That's A plus B equals C. This is where we start to how do we get long-term healthy? How do we change the signal at a cellular level? How do we engage the right nervous system response? How do we reduce that stress? Because emotions also are physical responses. If you get stressed, you get physically sick, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So we know there's an energetic and physical response. All of you have already confirmed it to me. 99% of you right now are saying, if I get chronically stressed, I get more symptoms. What you're telling me is if there's an energy that is off, chronically off in my body, I will physically get more symptoms. So the law of relativity tells us that for one thing to be true, its opposite must be true. For there to be dark, there must be light. For there to be tall, there must be short. For there to be happy, there must be sad. So if you know that stress can make you sick, what energy can make you healthy?
Mm-hmm.
Well, a word for this could be gratitude, peace, love. Anything with a
Mm-hmm.
positive vibration has the opposite effect. That's the law of relativity. So the art form is you have to reset the perspective or paradigm of what is truth. Me and you, and everyone who's been chronically sick, we are conditioned to believe a certain type of truth. Okay. Where do we get our happiness? The reason why we like to poison ourselves is because that's where every single celebration has ever been. Think about prom night. What'd you do
Mm-hmm.
on prom night, Katie? I bet you got
Um,
drunk as hell,
I
and
probably I probably drank. I don't,
you,
it feels
I
like a
bet
long
you
time
got,
ago, but
I bet you ate fries,
I'm
pizza.
sure I ate like crap. Yeah.
You probably drank
Oh
until 3 in the
yeah.
morning, and it was like I finally did it. That was my major
I
high
hit it.
school
Yep.
thing, and it was I got dressed up. So you looked
Mm-hmm.
your best. You were young, and then you poisoned yourself for five
As I
hours
tore
straight.
it all down. Yep.
Okay, what about Halloween?
Yeah.
What about New Year's? Every New Year's before you ever really took this serious.
I was like, now it is. Can I sit on my couch and go to sleep? Sleep by 9, guys.
See,
Of
but
course. But
but
yes,
Katie,
before
that's
it was like, how do I party into the middle of the night, right? And celebrate the way I should.
okay, Katie. Call me out, but I'm gonna call
Mhm.
you out. That's one of the reasons. That's
Yeah.
one of the reasons because you said I sit on a couch now.
Yeah.
No one wants that life.
Yeah.
No one wants to say now a functional medicine person. I'm healthy, so let me sit on the couch for New Year's.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the problem. That's the core issue. No one says I had the best time eating a gluten-free salad with you.
Gluten-free stuff.
Okay,
No.
we have to start changing our perspective. So I'm going to give you the answer for me, and then we can reverse engineer it. Here it is. I can eat whatever I want.
Mm-hmm.
I can eat whatever I want, whenever I want, however I want. I don't have a diet. I have a lifestyle that makes me happy and
Mm-hmm.
healthy. You can't influence me because you're not happier and healthier than me. If
Mm-hmm.
you are richer, if you are cooler, if you have more Instagram followers, if you're in Saint Tropez, or you're in freaking the Bahamas, or wherever you are, you still can't influence me if you are not happier and healthier. You could be on the best island, the richest person, but if you are poisoning yourself, you're not at a positive vibration, are not building a life that's better. I feel deeply that I'm going to
Affected.
influence you. I could
Yeah.
be sitting with J Lo right now, and
Mm-hmm.
eventually, if I'm happier and healthier, and she feels safe, I think I'll end up influencing her, even though she's
Mm-hmm.
100 million times more successful in all these ideas of materialism. Okay. So to realize, where is the influence? What makes you happy? What is happiness? We have to define this idea. So when I got happy, I had to reset my whole life on happiness. So I had to get rid of the idea that I had to be on a diet. I don't have to be on a diet. The
Mm-hmm.
reason I eat this way is because it makes me happy, it makes me healthy, and gives me freedom. I was stuck to a toilet. I was stuck to have a 20 bloody bowel movements a day, cramping and pain. I invested. I want to eat this way because it got me off the toilet. It got my
Yeah.
weight back. It got my colon good. It saved me from a surgery. So for me, it's an investment. It's not an I need,
Mm-hmm.
quote unquote, I need. It's an I want. So you have to energetically change an I want. So if you're sitting there and I see that you're having problems getting rid of poisoning yourself. So this is the language I use. I don't poison myself. I can eat whatever I want. You want to pay me
Mm-hmm.
$1,000? I'll go ahead and eat an entire large Papa John's pizza, go run 5 miles, do 200 push-ups, and be okay the next day with 1 to 2 normal bowel movements. Because my shield protects me from that poison. If I do it over and over again, or if you do it over and over again, or if Gandhi himself does it over and over again, all of us will start feeling terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Poison is poison. So we have to, that's why I use the language that, and excuse my French, but what for me and my pride and how I've changed myself cellular, I don't poison myself and I don't eat shit food. You invite me over and you give me shit alcohol or try to offer me shit alcohol or pizza or processed foods. In my head, I'm saying, I don't eat trash. I don't put trash in my body. I have too many dreams. I have too much love for myself. I have too much excitement about where I'm going.
Mm-hmm.
That's a ball and chain. And most of the time, you have to hear that. Like with my wife, she wasn't always like that. She was always into health and wellness, but she wasn't like that. So what was happened over the years is, okay, go have that ice cream, go have that pizza, and then an hour
Mm-hmm.
later, I'd say, "How do you feel?" And she goes, "I really don't feel that great." And I go,
Mm-hmm.
"But she doesn't have any real autoimmune with this." So over time, she's realized that I felt better than her.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
she just stopped wanting to feel bad. And then I held space for her to be happy and excited and vibrate and laugh and smile and have the right to have the best of times without poisoning ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need alcohol. I rarely drink alcohol, but I can have alcohol whenever I want. So take away the prison. Now you're saying, well, Dane, I can't, this doesn't make sense. What are you talking about? I can't eat what I want. I will have massive reactions. Okay. Now there's a difference. Take it with a grain of salt. We're talking generally, everybody. There's a difference between celiac and gluten sensitivity. Okay.
Yeah.
There's a difference of food allergy and food sensitivity. One little hack I'm going to give you is when you fix that microbiome diversity, you optimize that digestion, you get rid of that candida, you get rid of that SIBO, you probably do the parasite cleanse, and your microbiome resets, your food tolerance is going to go sky high.
Yep.
Your food tolerance. Now, you can argue if there's too much phytic acid, there's too many lectins, or it's not that clean of a food. That's a different story. We're talking about tolerance. Okay. So, my investment was number one, I need to prove I don't need a diet. So, I need to be able to tolerate all food. So, one thing I might do with you, and I personalize it with you in the life coaching of the Shield program. What is your goal? Is it important that you have pizza? Some clients go, I really don't care for that poison. I never need again. I just want to be my best, feel my best. Perfect. Go 100 miles an hour north. Other people, especially the young kids, go, I would like to have that when I go to my friend's birthday party. I would like to have it
Mm-hmm.
on Friday night. I would like to be able to do it. Okay. So our goal is for you to be able to go celebrate, not cheat. Okay. Get that word. You also have to, if you're going to change your lifestyle in this reality, change your language. Stop cheating. You never cheat. No diet. Okay. Celebrate. We're gonna make a goal of having a celebration meal. So Billy, how does it sound in the next 2 months? Let's make it a goal that you can go eat whatever you want on this Friday on this date if you work hard right now and get these results.
Mm-hmm.
So if we get your
Yeah.
cow protected normal, if we can get that microbiome looking better, if we can get rid of that gas, that bloating, that urgency, and your energy goes up, and maybe you gain 10 pounds, why don't we go celebrate? You can eat whatever you want. How's it sound? All of a sudden, Billy goes,
Yeah.
"Oh my God!" And he's
Yeah.
smiling, and Mom's smiling. Why? Because we gave him something they want. The goalpost has to be your desire. Okay, so that's it. Get rid of the fear and build a desire. Make it a goalpost you want. Some kids want to be able to go outside and skateboard or get rid of their acne, especially a lot of the women I want to work with,
Mm-hmm.
or I work with. It's clear skin, get rid of the bloating, get my energy up, get my hormone cycle right, get rid of the arthritic pain. I want to get more clear. If you eat negative food, it's going to give you worse feelings and energy inside. You're more likely to get those headaches and more likely to get the skin problems, more likely to have the bloat and not fit those jeans you want to fit. So I'm going towards desire, even if it's vanity.
Yeah.
What do you desire? What ticks? And you're in a safe place to communicate that. I'm here not to tell you what you need to do. I'm here to help you build what you want. What I can do for you is based on how much you can dream your reality is going
Mm-hmm.
to be. Like, what is your dream? I'm going to build your dream, not my dream for you. Okay. So that power shift, that trust, that it can be whatever I want it to be, I find really serves everyone out there. Like, yes, so for me, after about 8 months of I think it was like 9 months of being housebound, and I had been, I was longer than that. It was a while. I can't remember how long, but I had been housebound for a while. I'd really worked on healing myself for a long, long time. And I got invited to a beach party, and I got rid of the blood, the cramping, the pain. I got off of the medications. And I went to the beach party because I had started to feel comfortable that I wouldn't poop my pants. And at worst, in my head, I was saying, I'm going to run into the ocean if something happens. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there, and something came over me, and they were doing keg stands. And
Mm-hmm.
something came over me, and I had been disciplined for a long, long time. I did not need alcohol. I didn't need this. But in that moment, I decided to do a keg stand. The reason I did the keg stand, 10 seconds of having the yeast, gluten, sugar,
Mm-hmm.
glyphosate,
Yep.
like absolute bomb of terribleness on IBD. The reason is not because I wanted the beer, it's because I wanted to prove that I wasn't fragile to myself. I'm not a sick person anymore. That was my mission. So here's what came from me. I can eat whatever I want. That's part of it. My mission is I'm no longer sick. I'm safe in my body. I don't have restrictions for being sick. I live out of desire and
Mm-hmm.
freedom. And I take myself, I take pride in who I am. I have too much respect for myself to poison myself, but I need to prove that's true. So since I've healed, I've eaten everything you can imagine, everything.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so that was part of my truth, my
Mm-hmm.
experience. And we
Your
all
growth.
have the right to decide what that is. I've had clients work with me who were so strict that eventually they said, Dane, okay, I want to go eat this or that, not because I need it, because I want to prove that I'll be
Mm-hmm.
okay. So I think that's a huge part of the spiritual emotion, is you got to change the flag a bit. You've got to, put the flag towards what you really want. Number two is get rid of what you need and start going towards what you want. Get rid of the sacrifice and make it an investment. I'm going to eat this way. I'm going to live this way. I'm going to work with Katie. I'm going to work with Dane because I'm investing in X, Y, or Z. For me, I wanted to be free. I wanted to feel safe. I wanted to get rid of all that acne on my body. I wanted to gain back 60 pounds of weight. I did not want to get a surgery, and I didn't want to live on medication for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't think of something more to get inspired by than those goals behind you, like no surgery, no medication for the rest of your life, then that inspired me. The third thing I need to do is I now need to face the discomfort of reconditioning a new lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
So here's okay. You know it's right if it's uncomfortable. Realize this: I cannot take away the discomfort. It will be uncomfortable. So be aware of it, be ready for it. And then we're going to need to talk about it. If I spend 20 minutes with you just talking about how you're releasing it and how you're getting something new out of it and how you're like resetting your why, like a lot of times I'll hear this: that was hard, and I really wanted that cake. I really wanted it, but I remember what you said about being happy and healthy, and I remember why I'm doing this, and I remembered I want to be free. So Dane, I decided not to do it. And honestly, I'm so happy I did. And then I'll ask questions like, is it getting easier? You know what, Dane? I think it is getting easier. I
Mm-hmm.
do. Do you feel more free? Yeah, I think I feel more free. What percentage of supplements or symptoms do you think you've gotten down in the last 2 months? Oh my God, like I've never thought of it actually. I think it's probably, if I had to guess, like 60 to 70% of my symptoms are probably gone. And I'll even read them, their old symptoms. You had 15 bowel movements today on
Mm-hmm.
October 15th. You had this, that, and the other. What about now? About 60, 70%, right? Is it worth it? So what I'm doing is I'm allowing that person to speak into existence how this was worth it, how they're free, how they're excited, how they don't need it anymore. And the more they affirm that with me, the more they're going to affirm that with their family, with their significant other. And they're going to start resetting their spirit of what is normal and what is needed to be balanced, happy, and healthy.
Yep.
And then I'll hear someone go, well, I really miss lasagna. Well, then let's make lasagna. Make it from
Mm-hmm.
scratch. So I'll say, you want bread? You want brownies? Start with making it from scratch. Okay. That's the first thing. You can always go have it at a restaurant again, but start from scratch. Can you make a clean lasagna, brownie, cookie, sourdough bread? Absolutely, you can. And then you can celebrate by testing it. And if you don't do perfect with it, come back to your gut, continue to work on your gut, and try it again. Because food tolerance is a measurement of success. A normal, healthy person can tolerate a variety of foods, with the outlier of I have a serious allergy. That's different. But most of
Mm-hmm.
us with gut health and IBD and IBS have actually just developed sensitivities. It's not an allergy. That's why you were okay with that food and now you're not, because you've developed a sensitivity to such a poor environment, which is not your fault. Okay? It happened to all of us, happened to me. So we said a ton, but the big breakaways: simplify success, get consistent, Let go of being perfect. Build desire. Create it. Talk about it. Move the goalpost.
Mm-hmm.
Be willing to be imperfect. That's okay. Use food tolerance as a measurement of success, especially if you have a lot of food fear, especially if you feel like
Yeah.
there's a trauma that I can't eat food and that's really weighing on you. You're going to release that through experience, but you have to earn it. You can't just go out and say, that's it, I'm going having a burger.
Yeah.
Like, do the work. You've got to
Yeah.
put it at the top of the mountain. Do the work, okay? So it's an investment on something I want. Start changing your language. No more diets. Build a lifestyle that makes you happy and healthy. Stop cheating and start celebrating. Now, here's the deal with the rule. If you're going to have a celebration meal, make sure you're actually celebrating. I want your nervous system to be firing,
Mm-hmm.
that I'm actually having a good time. I'm not going to run around neurotic, worried that I just had a piece of bread. Okay. And I finally broke my carnivore or AIP style deal by having this type of carbohydrate, like polysaccharide or something of this nature, right? Just, you got to celebrate. So if you're going to do something new, I want you laughing. I want you in a good environment. You should not be at home watching Netflix. That is not the time to celebrate. I want you out and about. I want you in the sun. I want you laughing. I want that parasympathetic nervous system engaged. I want you salivating. The more you salivate, the more natural digestive enzymes you already have. I want you to set it and forget it. Do it and then immediately go live. Immediately
Mm-hmm.
go do something fun. Be around fun. You need to tell your cells that it's okay. So many of us are actually going into a trauma response the moment we swallow. We swallow and then it's trauma response. Okay. And then the last point I want to give on this subject, and I could give you 100 of these guys. We could really deep dive. Remember, we're talking generically. I hope just take away and cherry pick what's really making sense to you right now. Is what's really helped me is EFT tapping.
Yep.
EFT tapping or EMDR or hypnosis. Those are my favorite three. Emotional freedom technique. What I do is I used to see a therapist, but the problem with therapy was I was just talking it. It was just rational talking. It wasn't moving the energy at a cellular level. Belief is a cellular thing. Emotions, energy and motion is at a cellular level. I believe this deeply at a cellular level. This is my truth. I'm not good enough. I'm too hurt. These people hurt me and my stomach is not as an alien stomach. I can't handle these foods. We got to release that trauma. So tapping on your meridians helps to release trauma. You don't think it works? Try it. So in the Shield program, actually, I've brought in an EFT mental health coach who meets
Mm-hmm.
complimentary with all of our community for lifetime for free once a week. She gets on and does a live EFT with you once a week for free for all Shield members. And you can hire her for one-on-ones if you want. So
That's great.
she's at UC for 16 years. She lives in UK. She
Mm-hmm.
sounds like the Google Maps British lady,
Mm-hmm.
turn right here. She sounds great,
Extra
right?
soothing in the FT world.
Rachel hears it, she's gonna laugh, but she's extra soothing. She's like, right. So how does that make you feel, Dane? And I'm like, I don't know, but you're soothing. I already
You're
feel
like,
like,
keep talking and
uh,
tapping, lady. That's working for me.
yeah.
Yep.
And you guys see right now how we're laughing and joking and having positive
Yeah.
vibrations. I could sit down with Katie, have the best meal in the world, and we would both leave massively high vibration and excited, having the best
Mm-hmm.
times. We don't need alcohol. We don't need shit food. Sorry to curse. That's just energetically how I
It's
defend
okay.
myself from everyone else's
Yep.
reality. Me and her are only going to influence each other to be better. That's why we would automatically click and get along. We're just going to be pushing each other. Like, what are you up
Yep.
to? What are you learning? What are you trying? I'm doing HBOB with red light therapy. Have you tried this Rife machine? What do you think about peptides? What's your favorite peptide? What dose do you like of this? Where are you going? What island do you like to go to that has free food? Or healthy food? What's your favorite hotel chain? We would just, because we both have the same vibrations of excitement and building ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you want to be around. That's the power of community. And so where it's going to get uncomfortable is, they say we are an experience of the top 5 people we live around and communicate and connect with, right? Well, everyone tends to live around that same vibration. If you're going to raise your vibration, you're going to start separating yourself from your pack, your community, and that is uncomfortable. That is
Yeah.
hurtful.
Mm-hmm.
That is
Especially when it's
misunderstood.
family, right?
Oh,
We go on that for a tangent, but when it's
oh,
family related and you feel like you can't escape it or you don't know how to handle those situations, right? How much does that impact you 24/7, right? And dim your light
so
or dim
big.
your energy or dim your healing.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
And the
Yep.
reason I can help with this is because I had to do this myself. I grew up on fast food. Being
Mm-hmm.
gluten free was impossible for me. I threw
Yeah.
the first time I was given a gluten free book, I threw it out the window.
Yep.
There's no chance. And so I had to go through all this myself. It didn't happen quickly, and then I got forced into such a bad place that I had to crawl my way out, bleeding nails out of that black hole. and reset my lifestyle. I've been living this way for years and it's easy for me. I don't even think about it because what you're going to come to find is you feel so much better. Depression, anxiety, your vitality, your skin. I'm 37 years old. I'm in just as good a shape. I'm in better shape when I was 25 because I was nearly dead at 25. I weigh the same as I do in high school. I
Mhm.
feel good. I don't think I feel like I'm going to feel great at 55. I think I'm going to kick my son's ass when he's 50, when he's 20. That's what's in my head. Like I talk
Yeah.
to, he's 3. I'm like, dude, you got 30,
Feel like keep up.
maybe 30 years. Like you better
Yeah.
work, son. Like I love that push. And
Yeah.
so I'm optimistic. I'm excited. I only get influenced by those who are happier than healthier than me. And if you're not happier and healthier than me, I'm probably going to end up influencing you. And I don't allow people to have empathy for me because I was sick.
Yeah.
Don't,
Yeah.
that's right now. I want you to write that last one down. No more empathy. People cannot see you as a victim. Stop allowing people to feel sorry for you. When you look in your mother's eyes, your significant eyes, your father's eyes, you need to now stop changing that. Oh my God, there's that person I love who's deathly sick. I wish I could do something for them. Change that. We could spend an hour on that, but I no longer
Mhm.
allow my mom to see me as a sick person. And she watched me nearly die. She still is traumatized by it sometimes, but I took that. I no longer allow
Yeah.
her to worry like that. I took it. I became the CEO of my health.
Yeah.
So, and then actually, right before I started healing, me and my father got close. I actually called my father and apologized to him. What 24-year-old sons are calling their father to apologize? Not many. I got there because I no longer wanted resentment, anger in any way. And I was upset about a lot of stuff. So there's a lot we could talk about there.
Yeah.
We're gonna, mental health coaching and life coaching is such a massive part of healing
Mhm.
IBD, IBS, rheumatoid arthritis, Lyme disease, cancer, any of it. I think is you've got to reset the signal to the cells, the
Mhm.
perspective, and that's going to allow you to be so more consistent with food, with learning, with community, with who you attract in your life, with your immune system. I mean, it's just going to compound in ways you can't even see. Um, and so I hope that makes sense. There's a lot there.
Yeah.
It can be intangible, but I promise healing starts in the mind. Start changing the goalpost of what you want to be true and then just reverse engineer it from that. Like, I
Yeah.
want to be able to eat what I want. How can I do that with IBD? I want to be able to be safe in my body. What do I need to be safe?
I love that you brought the EFT tapping because I think too many people, maybe it comes from the traditional space or just what is kind of out there, but people don't know about all the different modalities that do exist. And I am a firm believer, like I use meditation for me as always an example to clients in terms of actually like I remember being at my first IFM conference many, many years ago, and they did a big group meditation. They were like, everyone shut your eyes. And I was that person like wide-eyed, like, how are you all doing this? How are you all closing your eyes? I'm freaked out and I'm not going to do this. So, and I still am always, but I'll tell people, I'm like, that is okay in terms of maybe meditation, that type of meditation is not the right thing for me. Maybe there is another modality, you know what I mean, of resetting my parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system. And like tapping is one I learned probably like 6 or 7 years ago. And I actually really loved it as a practitioner because being a practitioner in certain settings can be very, very stressful and very triggering. And so I would have different, spots I would do, and a patient wouldn't know I was doing it in the moment. So I just feel like I like that you brought light. It doesn't have to be, tapping. It can be some people it's journaling, some people it's coloring. Like there's so many
Yeah.
different things to remove some of this pent up energy, pent up, just angst and different things that we have going on to help calm us. And I don't think people realize that. We think it's talk therapy, right? Closed eyes meditation for an hour, and it doesn't need to be, in my
No.
opinion.
And I
And so I
and
really
I
love that.
Katie, I just saw a glimpse into you coming into your own, like sitting there like, why are these people are breathing? This is so weird. What did I get
Am
myself
I in the
into?
right place?
I
Should I be
was
here?
I was so much like that too. I just a
Yep.
straight up like dude from the woods, like,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
what is this? I mean, the answer, and I know you did this and I did this. Put your weird ego and shame aside
Hmm.
and just try it and get through it, even though it feels uncomfortable. If it's
Yeah.
uncomfortable, there's a 99% chance you are doing the right thing.
It was like, you need it. If you
Like,
should be doing things. Yeah. Yep.
yeah, I got to a point when I was housebound for a year that if I felt standing on my head and clapping
Yeah.
my toes with girls' high heels on would have healed me, I would have done it.
Yeah.
I was that much okay with my shame and ego and all that stuff doesn't matter anymore. but then you want to do things that are smart, right?
Yeah.
For me, EFT, and you're right, it's not just, that the conviction. Here's the answer I want you to write down. The answer is balance. We said earlier it's balance. Katie just said what helped her get in balance. We all respond differently to balance, just like we all respond differently to the clothes we like to wear, the shows we like to watch, the friends we like to keep. We are all different creatures. So you just have to trust yourself and realize that you need conviction on resources that get you balanced, but it is open to discussion on what those resources are.
Mm-hmm.
Say it again.
Yep.
You need conviction to have resources that get you in balance, but what those resources are is open for discussion and interpretation, and it is customized to you. But you must choose them. You cannot say, I don't like meditation, therefore I will do nothing.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
A lot of us don't even have to do this. We just, if you look at a happy person, like think of the happiest person you know, they naturally have a way of getting in balance. They don't hold on to negativity. They tend to focus on solutions. They tend to give so much positive energy to their friends and their loved ones that they gravitate towards other people who have positive energy. So every time they go to breakfast, lunch, or dinner, they're smiling, they're hugging, they're laughing, they're joying, and they light up the room. And then you love for them to be there because you know they bring that positive energy. And then it makes you want to give that positive energy back to them. Like I am actually a better friend to certain friends because they have a certain vibration.
I was just gonna say that. I was like, I can like picture certain friends, and
Right?
you're just like, my energy is different, right? Like and like, there's no negativity, there's no response that will ever be there that other people bring out in you, right?
Yeah.
So I like
And
that.
Katie, before there's a few topics I want to get into some of the physical because I know a lot of people out there
Yeah.
want to know the hacks, and I want to give you as much as I can with the time we
Yes.
have. And if we ever need to come back and hit other discussions, I'm
Mm-hmm.
game to deep dive on this stuff because I know we're going into woo woo, and I know eventually, guys, when you learn more diet and supplements, the woo woo is going to be very enticing to you because it's the Jedi. All right, if you
Yeah.
like the Force and the Jedi stuff, it is the woo woo is very
Yeah.
important for really big healing, and you're going to come to find that well is much deeper than you thought. I gave it no value. I was very hubris about what it meant
Yep.
and what I thought I knew, and so this was something you'll come to find means a lot more than you know, or you even give credence to. So the some of the biggest things. Let's jump into diet, and if there is time, because we've talked a lot about energy right now, I would like to lead someone through a little bit of a visual meditation because you just reminded me. I saw the visual, and something
Yeah.
I've seen really help people start to get aha moments and release that trauma is to get visuals, to see it. If you can see your new life, if you can see how you are, it's right in front of you, and it makes it easier just to choose it because it is a choice. A lot of this, it's just like I want to let that go and just dive into this, and I want to be okay with that, and it's going to be uncomfortable. But let's talk real quickly about food. This is
Mm-hmm.
really tough. You, through all of your degrees and your research, everything, you know absolute truths about foods. There's a difference between knowing something and telling someone it and helping them be successful with it, which is a big part of today's discussion, the emotional and spiritual, to be successful with food. First, you have to realize that success is to make something simple. You cannot get success with your food unless it starts to feel easy. So the goal is that it gets easy. Write that down. My goal is to make food easy. Okay. A lot of us hold on to this thought of, I need to get better at food because food is hard. So we get guilty. We get angry. We get upset at ourselves. Do better. Do better. G.I. Joe it. G.I. Jane it. Do better. Shave the head. Let's go. Get it better. Eat
Mm-hmm.
perfect. Eat perfect. Eat perfect. Bring your food. Bring your food. Wake up at 5 a.m. to cook the food. And it's just, oh God, we're just guilt and anger
Mm-hmm.
and resentment. I'm not perfect. Here's the goal. Let's make food simple. The first thing we have to do is understand the goal of food. Whether you're in fear and you're here because you have IBD, IBS, any autoimmune disease, or you just want to learn. The goal of food, number one, is to first, in US food, I'm going to really generalize it for sick people. The number one goal of food is to eliminate an inflammatory response. It's to
Mm-hmm.
not have an inflammatory response. That's why the most important thing you do with food is what you're not eating more than what you're eating. So if you come in and say, Dane, what's the most important thing I can take away right now? Build an energy and in a balance in your life that you can stop having seed oils, processed dairy, processed gluten, and inorganic foods with glyphosate. I'd say if you could do those 4 things, you're already getting a massive ROI. If you can just get balanced in that, you can just get balanced. Okay. Will that solve the root issue? Will that help optimize your digestion and get rid of the H. pylori and the biofilms and drain your liver properly? No. So it won't do everything. So that's the second rule. Food will not heal you. Ooh, food will not heal you. Food will create space for a healing response.
I love that. Couldn't agree more. Yep.
That's it, guys. Don't think food is the Messiah. It's not.
Yep.
Food, and they say food is medicine. It is, but it's one form of medicine. So are happy thoughts. So is lack of stress. So is sunshine. So is breath work. Okay? All forms of medicine. Food will not heal you. It creates space for a healing response. What does that mean? What it means is the most important thing about food is that it doesn't hurt you. The biggest thing with food that's happening is it's just hurting us like oil and water. Okay? Imagine, here's a great metaphor to help it sink in. Imagine you got the flu. And imagine the flu was your sickness like Crohn's disease or Lyme disease, okay? Now imagine that your mom, when you're a kid and you get the flu, your mom tells you what? She tells you to go to bed early and sleep. Now, sleep, does that cure the flu? Does that heal the flu? No. But is sleep absolutely imperative to be able to get rid of the flu? Yes. How does sleep help you get rid of the flu? It creates space in the body for your body to then go fight the flu and get rid of it. The biggest problem in life is getting out of the body's way. What me and Katie are doing for you is not, we're not God. It's not Dr. the Wizard of Oz here. We are actually just enabling the divine power of the body to do what it does. That's all it is. We're just allowing the body, the body's the powerful thing, not us. Okay.
We're just, do things that work with the body, not against the body. Give it that support, that love. Body,
it's like a wave. We just know there's a wave there, and we go, look, if you get on the wave's going to take you over here because it's divine in that nature. So it's the sleep is creating space for a healing response to fight the flu. It doesn't directly heal the flu. It creates space so that your body can fight the flu. So you always should sleep more, but it's not going to cure the flu. Same with food. Food creates space. When you eat right, you give your body nutrients. You give your body space, okay? So imagine food, also the second metaphor to help get down in layman's terms, is it doesn't heal you, create space in the body for a healing response. Now imagine that you need nutrients for cellular work, for mitochondria, ATP energy, for hormone development, all that. You need nutrients, fat solubles, water solubles, micronutrients. You need all these things. Imagine that we were digging for gold like it was nutrients. And imagine you were digging in soil that had 20% the nutrients as my soil. And imagine every time you dug it up, there was this toxic fume going up into the air that you breathed in that made you cough. Okay. So you only have 20% of the gold where you dig. And every time you dig, it releases this toxic gas that you then have to deal with. Okay. Now imagine on my side, who eats organic and clean and a lot of homemade foods, I have 80% more nutrients when I dig, whenever I have to dig. And I never have to deal with the toxic gas. Okay? That's what it's like. I'm going to be way more wealthy than you. Write this down. Create wealth in your health. Okay? You need passive income. You need to make more money per hour, right? When you eat, you want to give your body more without the toxic. When you eat processed food, it's not just the lack of nutrients. There is no nutrients in processed food. There's zero. Okay? The second problem is that it is full of so much toxins that are causing an inflammatory response, but then also your liver has to deal with all of those chemicals and preservatives. So it's like it's a trifecta: massive inflammation, no nutrients, and then your body has to spend its energy getting rid of the toxins and chemicals. You're just destroying everything about yourself. When people say, "Oh, I'm no longer 20, I can't look that way. My metabolism doesn't work that way." It's not that your metabolism doesn't work that way. It's that you've destroyed your metabolism because your body's so toxic. You don't have a flowing river. You have a stagnant pond. So you see what I've done? Again, we go back to the emotional for a second. I have connected in reality a perspective that I love to dig on this side of the gold, right? I go for gold over here. I don't poison myself. I want nutrients that's going to make me look young and feel good and give energy. So when you start understanding that phenomenon of food, it's going to help you when you look at it and say, that is just poison. We know it's poison. Why am I poisoning myself? And that's an emotional problem you should probably tap on, EFT, right? And continue to sit down with Katie or I and work it out and use affirmations to let it go. It's going to be uncomfortable. That's okay. So first is get rid of the inflammatory response. And the second big thing is nutrients needs to be bioavailable. So when you're eating, it's not just what you're eating, it's how bioavailable. This is the biggest mistake made with IBD. Most functional practitioners hear about all of these nutrients and all this great food, but a person with IBD cannot properly absorb it. Okay? You could have a salad that could have all these things. It is going to destroy a person with IBD. Okay. And the same thing with a lot of different, that's why plant food gets a really bad rep with IBD and carnivore gets such a good rep lately, is because our digestion system is so off. We cannot handle fiber. We cannot handle lectins. We cannot handle polysaccharides. So that's why the specific carbohydrate diet got so famous. And Elaine Gottschall really coined that because we couldn't break down the polysaccharides. It's not that we're allergic to it. It's that this system was so broken, it could no longer handle them. Guess who else can't handle a polysaccharide? A baby. The baby's gut has to get so strong to be able to handle those fibers, to be able to handle those polysaccharides, to be able to handle those raw foods. I couldn't have a sip of water, okay? When I was chronically sick, I couldn't have a sip of water without increasing bowel movements. Now I have steak, I have salad, I'll have quinoa, I have nuts and seeds all the time, and I have no problem. So here's what we have to do with food. You first have to build the integrity of the gut, okay? So the next thing I want you to see mentally is that food is like, imagine you tore your ACL. I give you all these simple answers so you can strategically see how winning is done. If you tear your ACL and you go to physical therapy to reformulate your knee, get your knee back so you can go back on the basketball court, or go for a run, or go back to Pilates, right? If you go back to rehab, on day one, are you going to start with jump rope? Hells to the no. If you're doing jump rope on day one of a torn ACL, you are insane.
Yeah.
What about day 60 or day 80? Could jump rope. So here's the thing. The same thing can be therapeutic at one given time, but at a different time, the same person, the same exercise can be inflammatory and set you backwards. Time is a lot. Food is a measurement of success. You are not ready for that food. It's not that you can never have it.
Yep.
Exactly. How much did that just take the pressure off you? Wait, so you're saying I'll be out of bread again? Yes. When we fix your digestion, when we optimize your microbiome, when we get your mucosal membrane nice and strong, when we get your calprotectin normal, when your CRP goes normal, when we drain out your liver, okay, when we get your pancreatic enzymes going, we get that bioflow going. Yes. So I moved the goalpost. All right. You got to fix the mechanics. No one told me at the hospital I had very poor stomach acid, no pancreatic enzyme output. Mayo Clinic didn't tell me that. I bet they didn't tell you that listening. If you have IBS, if you have IBD, if you have pretty much any autoimmune disease, I guarantee your microbiome's off, your digestion's probably is terrible, and your liver's probably way off. I bet those three almost are all of us. I almost guarantee it. If me or Katie are sitting down with you, we're going to look at all three and say, I already know.
Yeah.
If you have food sensitivity, your gut lining is messed up and you cannot break down food properly. You need to get it going. And to get pancreatic enzyme output going, you need to get bioflow. You need to fix the liver and the gallbladder. Okay? You need bioproduction. You're not going to be able to break down fats. You're not going to be able to absorb vitamin A, D, K, E. You're not going to be able to create proper hormones and have a normal hormone cycle if you don't have proper fat absorption, which you need bile for. And bile is stuck in the liver. It's not being moved. It's stagnant. And you're not getting enough of and that's going to cause a vicious cycle. So realize you have a torn ACL in your gut. As you fix the mechanics, you're going to see food sensitivity get better. You're going to see energy get better. You're going to see weight get better. You're going to see inflammation go down naturally. You're going to get better thoughts. The depression, the anxiety is going to go down. Your hormone cycle is going to start balancing out. Realize that most hormones and the immune system, it's a gut problem. Like the two most important organs, if you want to generalize it, you got to fix the gut and you got to fix the liver. Those are the two biggest things that a lot of things are going to work once you work on those two. Okay. Those just start the whole system. And think of health like a turning engine. All my guys who like to work on their cars or trucks, boom, boom, it's an engine. If one thing goes off, it's like, oh God, now the whole thing's, and then you fix one thing and everything gets better. That's why when I work with you, you might tell me 10 symptoms. If I fix one, there's usually a domino fix that everything gets better. The mucus goes down, the blood goes down, the weight goes up, the energy goes up all at the same time. Or it all gets worse at the same time because everything is connected. So fix the mechanics. Food will get easier. Realize food won't heal you. It's creating space for a body. The two most cardinal rules of food. I don't care about the diet you're on. If you're on vegan, you're carnivore, doesn't matter. Here's what I want. I want that way you're eating to help eliminate inflammatory response and increase nutrient absorption. Write those two down. Those are the two most cardinal rules I want from food. Now it's simple. Okay. If you want a general rule of thumb of how to get more bioavailability and help reduce that, here's general for all of us. If you can't squish it, don't eat it. No seeds, no skins. Okay. Why? Because that's how a young baby might eat. If we have a weakened gut, we can just go back to how the gut even started to restore itself in the first place, right? Babies start on more liquid meals. That's why fasting has gotten so big and elemental diets have gotten so big. Babies can't have a lot of polysaccharides and different types of rough fibers and raw foods yet, but they will as their gut gets stronger. So just go backwards a little bit in the whole natural journey of gut integrity, of gut development. Okay. And then continue to work it up. That's one thing with food. That's one segment, but there's so much more you can do with food elsewhere. Okay. So some quick takeaways. We could really deep dive on this, but some simple things. It's very generic, but if you're getting an aha moment, that's what I want. Right now, if you're uncertain of how to eat, try to make it squishy, which also means delicious. Do you want tough and dry chicken, turkey, beef, or fish? Or do you want soft, juicy, melts in your mouth fish and chicken and beef and eggs or quinoa or white rice or soy or whatever you're eating, right? So go there. Generally, I do see people do a bit better with animal-based foods because animal-based foods don't have the fiber. They don't have the carbs and the sugars that a lot of times cause a lot of problems. Sugar can be a big problem for people with dysbiosis, candida, SIBO. And so they don't have the sugar. They don't have the lectins. They don't have the polysaccharides that can be antagonistic to the gut in the beginning. But you also get immense amount of protein. You need double the protein to heal the body. You need a lot of protein to heal the body. Okay. So generally speaking, animal-based foods can be helpful, but you need to make it bioavailable. It needs to be homemade properly. So the cardinal rule of food philosophies, which we teach in the SHIELD program, is the manner at which food is prepared. That's the last thing I want to teach about food is it's not just whether you need to bicker about this plant food versus this animal food, this high histamine, this high FODMAP, low FODMAP. All that matters, but the cardinal rule above all of it is how it's prepared. If you take a piece of local organic chicken and you barbecue the hell out of that with canola oil, that is going to be way worse for you than the worst piece of conventional chicken that is cooked in a soup, slow cooked with no seed oils, and cooked to a way to make it soft and delicious and juicy. That's going to be much more bioavailable and cause a lot less inflammatory response than the perfect organic chicken. Okay, so the manner at which food prepared is the cardinal rule of getting a healthy response with food. Okay, so how it's prepared. So look at it. No seeds, no skins. If you can't squish it, don't eat it. And then if you look and you eat from the earth, the next thing is your goal and your mission is to be able to eat all foods from the earth. Properly prepared, eating from the earth. You might say my goal is, maybe I agree with Dave Asprey that oatmeal is the terrible thing, or Paul Saldino that oatmeal is absolute terrible food. Maybe you agree, maybe you don't. But if you have a healthy gut, should you be able to tolerate it? If Paul or Dave couldn't tolerate oatmeal, I'd go, I don't care. Yeah. I don't care, buddy. Yeah. You can't tolerate it. Your gut's not in a good place, brother. Okay. You can sit here and say it's peasant food all you want, but if you can't tolerate it, that's not the goalpost for me. Okay. So you get the difference. Stop arguing with the perfect food. Let it go. Our grandparents ate oatmeal. Everyone ate oatmeal.
Yes. Yeah.
Everyone ate oatmeal. Who cares? Like the goal is to be able to tolerate it. You can always decide I don't want it. It's not part of my perfect nutrition plan. Who cares? You want to feel safe in your body.
Yeah.
That's not my mission. My mission is to feel safe. So I can eat walnuts, almonds. I can have quinoa. I could have, I tend to have like white rice over brown rice because I do think the arsenic lectins are pretty dense for me. If I ever have those grains, I pressure cook them. I soak them to reduce the lectin count. I got that from Gundry. I cherry picked from them. I don't do everything Gundry does. I don't do everything Dave Asprey does. I don't do everything Dr. Bird does. I don't do everything some of my vegan mentors do, but I cherry pick from all of them. Right? I cherry pick from all of them. And so you can customize and just realize the art of food. Get rid of the bad stuff first, get balanced in it, and start realizing the goal, get it bioavailable, reduce inflammatory response, and then compound it with everything else you need. Because the food's not going to fix your digestion. It's not going to fix your liver. It's not going to perfectly reset your microbiome. Yes, if you get rid of the
Mhm.
sugars and some carbs, it can help reset dysbiosis. Yes, but it's not going to deal with biofilms. It's not going to deal with parasites. It's not going to deal with mold.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with all of that. I couldn't agree more with all of that and the cherry picking and not always putting all your eggs in one basket of who you are following because nothing anybody is saying is 100% whether it's accurate or accurate for you, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I love that. That's the goal of having a coach or a really skilled practitioner, especially in the IBD world, that can
Mm-hmm.
help really make that specific to your needs, your case, your gut microbiome tests, right? Your food sensitivity issues. Like that is the whole end goal, minus obviously food freedom and healing freedom, is how do we make this specific to you? How do we take the knowledge, the science, the research that we have with clinical experience where we, thank God, agree that everything is much more an art than always a science. Like use
Yes.
our science and our research to back our clinical experience, right? And how do
Yes.
we move this and facilitate this to help you specifically on your healing journey. So I love that. And like, it sounds like that is, if you are struggling, especially with, inflammatory bowel, is how is the Shield program helpful for these clients? I mean, you've proven that in 20 different ways today, but
Yeah.
it's that there is a coach helping you individually, right?
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and doing that.
And let's talk with that. And Katie, I think again we could vibe. I already can tell we could vibe for
Yeah.
hours on this. And if we ever want to come
Hmm.
back on and hash on and talk about something completely different and really dive into some of the other root
Yeah.
issues, I'm more than happy because I know within an hour we can only talk about so much, guys. And I want to give you everything. I want to see you succeed. I want
Yeah.
to see you thrive. I want you to get past that pain and that prison that I was in for years. And no one told me this. No doctors told
Mm-mm.
me this. No one showed me this. And it can be done. And when I built the Shield program, I built it with integrity to be exactly what I needed when I was suffering and fighting for my life. That was it. That's the mission. This is an impact driven company. Okay, so that's why in the Shield program, what it is we make sure everyone has their own one-on-one coach. Okay, it has to be results driven. So when you come in, you're going to be getting a coach for a minimum of 3 months where you have DM support and one-on-one calls. That coach has IBD, has reversed their issues with IBD, specializes in IBD, has seen hundreds of people with IBD. So they've already seen your case hundreds of times. That's what I was looking for in an indie, and I couldn't find it. I want someone who specialized it, had personal experience, preferably someone who had already had testimonies on testimonies. We post a new testimony every single week of reversing someone's issues with Crohn's colitis. Most of them are 6 months later, a year later, 2 years
Hmm.
later. And because we see about 120 Crohn's colitis patients a week, this is what we do. And all our coaches around the
Hmm.
world meet every week. What's been working? And we're running protocols on ourselves. We're running labs on ourselves. We're continuously pushing. So like right now, I'm focused on HBOT. I'm focused on getting into more red light therapy and really learning more about that, biofrequencies. I know we're really deep diving more on like Sinclair's liver cleanse, which is really hot out right now in functional medicine,
Hmm.
and coffee enemas and how to get rid of liver stones and gallstones and all this. So we're always pushing the envelope. But that's what you need. You need to be a part of a community of people who specialize in what you want. You want private coaching. You want lifetime access. You want different places to get training. So we have our EFT coach you can see every week. You can also do one-on-ones with her. We have our ND who does once a week on supplements. And we have our DC who also does once a week on food philosophy. You can come to those lives, plus your one-on-one, plus we have a program, the Shield program, that teaches you and trains you. And it's all done in a way to make it simple. This can be very overwhelming. So we want it simple.
Hmm.
You have lifetime access, and our success rate is massive. What we see when we talk every week with our clients is at least 60% symptom relief is what we're seeing in 3 months. That's the minimum. And sometimes we're getting 100% symptom relief in 2 or 3 weeks. And I'm sure
Oh,
you've had a client like that, Katie, where you
yeah.
come in and you change this, and their body just so happens to just zing up,
Yep.
and they just think you're like the best. And you go, yeah,
Uh,
it's your body. Your body just
like you
took
did
to
it.
it.
I just guided it. Yeah.
Yeah, your body took to it. And you're like, man, why can't this happen for every client? So we do have Sammy
Yeah.
Sosa home runs like that, where
Good.
we get a lot of clients who come in and it's like a godsend.
Hmm.
But we do work synergistically with conventional medicine. We work post surgery. We've worked with young kids, but that the parents have to be involved. We deal with parents if your child's under 18. But I've worked with a 3-year-old, 6-year-old, 9-year-old, 14-year-olds, fissures, post surgery. We've helped people get symptom free in Africa, India, Europe. Canada. I can do a quantitative PCR stool test in Dubai. So we do lab work internationally. We can ship supplements internationally. When you come in, also, this is a gift. I'm going to make sure if you're listening and you really want this, um, you're going to get a $400 gift card for your supplements. So if you come in included, I'm going to give you $400 to pay for any supplements that we recommend to you.
Yeah,
Okay. So
that's
if we're like,
amazing.
you need to take this, that, or the other, it's already paid for. It's done. And I would say from your perspective, anyone out there, just, if you want to connect and work in a community and you have any disease, find someone that you feel has integrity, that you trust, because healing is not linear and you need to be part of a team,
Mm-mm.
and you've got to think the short-term goals, but you also got to think the long-term goals. And you really want to be connected with that home where someone's growing in the right way. And it has to be impact driven it can't just be money driven. It has to be impact driven. And so you can click the link in the show notes. So I know you came from Katie. Shout out to Katie. Thank you so much for having me and introducing me to your community.
Yeah.
And I hope this was very helpful and we got some insights with the limited time we had. And just know healing is possible. It's not easy. It will be hard. There's so much you can do. When you get self-empowered, it won't just be getting rid of the symptoms. You will be empowering your whole life in every aspect for the rest of your life. It will be the best thing you've ever done to start investing in functional medicine with it's with me or Katie or anyone in the world. Get involved. I promise you 100% you will not regret it. God bless.
I love that. You're such a wealth of knowledge, obviously, just in health in general, wellness, but especially in the IBD space. So, first of all, we're going to have you come back and we're going to have to talk a little bit more about like testing products and things that you've seen be
Yep.
successful. So, have your people contact my people for a follow up. We'll do a part two,
Yeah.
guys, and give you guys everything. But tell everyone, we'll put it obviously in the notes, but how to follow you, contact you, and just absorb everything and or sign up for the Shield program.
Absolutely. So CrohnsColitisLifestyle.com, CROHNS, ColitisLifestyle.com, or CrohnsColitis_lifestyles Instagram. If you want to follow me personally, it's Dane Johnson 1 on Instagram. YouTube, just type in Crohn's Colitis Lifestyle or Dane Shield into YouTube. You'll see our channel there. We post a testimony a week. And we highlight some of the things that work for people around the world, reversing Crohn's colitis. And we also do work with IBS. We get that question all the time. Will you work
Mm-hmm.
with me, undiagnosed IBS? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and we get great results there. And constipation, other forms, microscopic colitis, lymphocytic colitis, pancolitis. We work with all that. So that's where you can find us on social and the Shield program. You'll see that on our website. The first thing we're going to want to do is just have you fill out an intake form. If you click the link in the show notes, it'll take you to a place where you put your name, your email, and it will take you to fill out an intake form to schedule your complimentary strategy session with one of our IBD sports specialists. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to complimentary put you on a call with someone who's gone through the program, has IBD, is around this all the time, has their own specialty in it in their own right, and deep dive with you, because we want to put our best foot forward and really make sure you're heard and you're understood and how this will work. And the last thing it's come to my mind right now is when you work with anyone, guys, make sure they hold space for what you want to create. The biggest thing a practitioner needs to ask is, what is your dream of success? Just paint it for me. Once you paint it for them, I want to eat this way. I want to live this way. I want to take this many supplements. I want to biohack this much. I want to get my lab work to look this way. I want to weigh this much. I want my skin to look this much. Lay it all out, be heard, and then just ask and listen to what the
Mm-hmm.
practitioner says is needed to be done to reverse engineer those dreams coming true. And it could be a little bit more than what they say. It could be a little bit less than what they say. No
Mm-hmm.
one knows for certain. But start with creating the goalpost and get uncomfortable. And I know you can do it. Thank you so
I
much.
love that. I love that. Well, thank you, Dane, for being here and giving us your time. And I can't wait for everyone to kind of absorb and take in and re-listen to this episode.
Thank you. Happy healing.